of the Mastadon Creates podcast, episode 24. Today is June 7th. It's a lovely Sunday, and my name is Tori, or Victoria, the mastermind behind the crazy. Before we get into the episode today, you can find me on Instagram as Victoria Schwanke. I am most active there for sure. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie. You can find me on the blog, of course, at woolymastodon.wordpress.com, as well as, I'm trying to think of all the places, Facebook. I'm not as active there, and then obviously YouTube. So thank you for joining me today. Before I jump into the podcast episode today, I've been going back and forth on how I should address this with obviously everything that is going on in the world, and I feel like it would probably be a little remiss to not address it, just as that doesn't seem right. But with all the horrible things that have been happening in the world and all over, yeah, I didn't want to set a somber tone for the beginning of this episode, but I feel like, yeah, like I said, it'd be remiss to not bring something up. But you maybe noticed, hopefully I did this, but at the beginning of the episode, I put up a Bible verse, and I felt that the best way to address what is going on in the world right now is to understand that my words will not be the right words, and they will never be the exact right words. But the Bible will always have the exact right words. So I feel like that is the best place to go, and I will also read it here, and I hope it brings comfort, and then we'll go into the episode. But this is a verse for comfort, 2 Corinthians 1 verses 3 and 4, and I'm just going to read it out loud. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our trouble, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the same comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. That is the Evangelical Heritage Version. And honestly, I feel like that's the best way to address what's going on in the world right now. And yeah, I didn't want to start on a somber tone, but I felt that that was the best thing we could do. So, I don't want to belittle what's going on in the world, but I also understand that the only way we can move forward is with God. So, I'll put that out there. So, with that, I do want to move into the different products I have finished, things I've been working on in the episode today. I haven't finished anything, and that's because I have started everything. I don't have any finished objects, so let's just move on to works in progress, and I'm just going to speed through. Still working on the hedgehog mitts, still working on the still working on dishcloths, and still working on toe-up socks. I have made no progress on any of them. So guys, I think I am officially off of the dishcloth train, which is crazy and insane to say, but I think I am. I think I've finally gotten to the point where I've knit so many that I'm just going to let it sit for a little while and move on to other things. So that was a development this week. But yeah, so we'll move on to the projects I have been working on. We'll pull up the first one you have seen. You've seen this 8,000 times over the course of forever. Tanya? Jenny, did I say that correctly? I don't know. Good grief. I was so worried about how I was going to start this intro today, which is 100% truthful. I care too much, and so I didn't double check, so I apologize, but I believe you said it was Tana. We'll see. And I'll double check the pronunciation from the last episode, so you don't worry there. I will double check. Ah! My cat saw my yarn. She's in here today. But I am knitting my second round on this beautiful sweater, and this is by Caitlin Hunter. This is Tana. Tegna. There. I'll just spell it today since I was remiss in checking my notes. But what you may see is I have finished the lace section. The lace section is indeed done. It is completely scrunched up. This is going to grow quite a bit, as I learned on my first rendition of this. So I'm not super worried about it, other than the fact that the cat is again trying to get at my yarn. But yeah, I'll put this up here so hopefully you can see a little bit. It's gonna look like a crumpled mess right now, but you have seen the lace before if you've watched my previous episodes when I put up my finished object photos the first time around. This time I am knitting a 1X. I am knitting this on a US 3, which is, let's see, a 3.25 millimeter needle. And this is knit out of the Knit Pick Stroll hand paint in Sunny Afternoon. So I have made quite a dent on this. I finished the lace, I am into the body. I'm just knitting straight stockinette. So I feel like I will get more knitting done on this now that I'm into that section. And I'm going to tuck this away because Midnight Moon has decided now is the perfect time to attack. But this is the yarn I'm using. Again, this was a frogged product for the same sweater. And I am re-knitting it. I am bound and determined to get this correct this time. So we shall see. Let's see. Then we get into the new Cast Ons. So, let's see. I believe it's the weekend she's attacking my computer bag. I believe it was the weekend I finished my last podcast that I decided I needed to cast on a new pattern. And so I had already purchased the Terrell Dago shawl pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and again I apologize pronunciation, and I just hadn't cast it on. I purchased this a while ago when I purchased the sweater pattern, and I was just like, I've been staring at this pattern for ages. I want to cast on a large shawl that uses preferably 3 skeins, and so I did, and this is how far I am at this point. I have finished the first single color section. I have finished the stripes of the first section, and I am now into the lace, which I am knitting on an absolutely gorgeous neon color. And I wasn't sure about the contrast on here. There is some color work that might get a little bit lost, but it's only one section, so I'm not super worried about it. I wanted to use neon colors. So, I am knitting with, and let's see if I get this right. I need to reference my tags. Here we go. So this one, this lovely colorway, it's black with like bright speckles of neon green and fuchsia and white, and it's just so pretty. This is Knitted Wit. It is, they're single fingering in the Hawaii Volcanoes colorway, as I read the tag. So that's my dark color. Then I have this. This is Hedgehog Fibers Twist Sock in the anime colorway. This is a beautiful gray with pops of all kinds of neon. So totally me. And then last but not least, I have, and I'm definitely going to have to reference the tag on this. This is Knit Circus Yarns. And this is the Greatest of Ease colorway, or Greatest of Ease base in the High Voltage Speckles colorway. This, I don't know if it's going to come across this way. This is highlighter yellow with hot pops of highlighter colors, except for a little bit of, oh, I'm losing my yarn. Cat is here. Let go, let go. No, no, not for you. But that is, we're going to have a vibrant episode today. But that is the, it's highlighter yellow and highlighter green. So it's 100% me. And I'm going to have to unfortunately stash this because, and just a side note on this pattern, these needles have already been chewed on by my cat. Thankfully she didn't like destroy them, but she did chew on them. So yay. That was fun. It was my fault. It wasn't in a zipped bag. But this is the shawl pattern. I have purchased these skeins in several different yarn shops, so it's kind of like a nice memory shawl. I bought the Knit Circus yarn at Knit Circus in Madison. Knitted Wit I got from Just Yarnin in St. Germain, and then the anime is from an unfortunately no longer existing shop, which makes me very sad because we moved here and I never even got to go back. The Wisconsin Craft Market, which was in Madison, but it unfortunately closed, at least to my knowledge. I'm guessing that stayed the same because they were going to close before COVID happened, and I'm sure that just solidified everything. So That is my shawl. I'm working on this one, and I'm going to put this in its bag, which is a neon backpack I forgot I had, and zip it up so midnight doesn't get to it. But yeah, that is my first work in progress in a neon backpack, no less. Alright, so I should say this is my third work in progress. So my last work in progress is I decided I needed to cast on a shawl, and I'm going to make sure I have the yarn tags here so I can get to them. This shawl is going to be the Shadowplay wrap by Alexandra, and I have had these skeins of Barocco vintage for forever. They've been sitting in my stash. I've wanted to use them. Originally I was going to knit a sweater with them, but I realized I did not have a large enough quantity for what I wanted to do with the amount of colors I had. So I was trying to think of what I could do, and I decided that I absolutely love, I have knit the Mara shawl years ago. It's a huge squishy shawl. I love it to bits, and it's super warm. It's basically a blanket. And I was like, you know what? I want to knit another one. I want another huge squishy shawl that I can just throw on, maybe bring to work in winter, throw on and be super comfortable in. So this is how far I am. It's going to be very hard to see because I have it on shorter needles, so it's pretty squished up, but you can see that there's a little bit of striping going. I'm pretty far actually. I finished the first stripe. I'm pretty far on the second stripe. I'm knitting this on US 8, which I believe is a 5mm needle, and this is Barocco vintage, and unfortunately the yarn that I have, it looks like they maybe started putting color names on them, but they aren't anymore, and I didn't match up the tags. So, oops. I'm using color number 5182, color number 51180, 5107, and 5197. Very helpful, I know. But I'm using this lovely gray, which I do have more of if I wanted to expand the shawl. I don't want to lose the knitting. So I have more of the gray, and then I'm using this purple, this beautiful plummy purple. Oh, I can't tell if it's actually focusing on the correct color or not. And then I will add in this lovely teal, of course. I mean, why wouldn't I add in a teal? And then last but not least, for a pop of color, I'm going to add in this orange. And I think it's going to be really pretty. It's going to be extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. So I am very, very excited about this. And it's garter. It's a garter stitch shawl. It is a free pattern if you're willing to look through the ads and everything on her website. Otherwise, you can buy an ad-free PDF. I just looked on her website, and it's a very simple formula, so you really don't need a whole lot of information. So I just looked at her website and got it from there, and have been working from there. But yeah, it's awesome to knit on. I knit an awful lot of this last weekend because I needed something to work on with everything that was going on, because I tend to care a lot. So this helped work through that. So I have got a very simple, easy knitting pattern. It's just garter, so it's just knit, 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 knit with a few increases. You don't have to think, which is basically why the dishcloths haven't really been worked on, because I don't have to think on this. So I've been working on this instead of dishcloths or socks. Now granted, we do have AC, and if I were going to be out in a warm place, it would be back to dishcloths or socks because they're small. But because of the AC, I can sit on the couch and knit on this and not melt into a puddle. So that has also been worked on another old neon bag. But let's see, with that, I believe that is all my works in progress. So that is my knitting content for the day. However, I do have spinning. I have finished spinning, and I have semi-started spinning. And I have a bucket here with spinning and a few other things. So let me pull a few other things out because I'll get to those later. So let's go with the finished spinning first. You can probably guess I finished my hand spun. The fiber is from Camelot Dye Works. I don't have the tag here. So you'll have to refer to show notes or past episodes for the fiber content, because I know it's just not merino. And there might be silk in here too. I don't remember for sure. But I finished spinning it. So we'll pull the interesting one separate. So these, I have 3 skeins. This came up to a total of 718 yards. And it's a 2-ply. I would say it's a bulky fingering. It does vary because I wasn't very even on my spinning. But yeah, there's one skein. There's another. And there's the last one. And then what I normally do is, if I have any left on a bobbin that I ran out of the 2, like there's one bobbin with a lot of extra on it, which I had a very uneven spin this time. So there was a lot of extra. I will wind it off into a center pull ball, and I will ply it from the center pull and the outside of the ball. And thank goodness for ball winders. It makes it so much simpler now. I don't have to do it by hand. But you can see that this basically spun itself into a gradient, which is kind of crazy considering how I spun it. It must have meant that I had very evenly spun these colors. So this little one was 100, we'll say it was right around 140 yards. And I'm not counting this in my total because if I were to use this, I would most certainly have to strand this in, like alternate skeins. And this would probably be pretty noticeable because it's not marled at all. The colors aren't blended together. It's a gradient spin. So this I may just use for something else, whether it's in a scrap blanket or something else. But I feel like it will get used. But I'm keeping it with us just in case I start a project and need this extra bit of yardage just to complete it. And I would say this is certainly thinner too. This is a light fingering. So I don't know. I wasn't, when you spin 2 bobbins of fiber together, it kind of evens it out, and this can tell you how uneven my spinning actually was. But I'm happy to have that off the wheel. I started that a very long time ago. I think I was looking at my notes on Ravelry. It was probably 2017. It was supposed to be a spin for my mom. She picked out the colors. So in honor of her, I want to knit a shawl probably. Something that I can put over my shoulders like a hug, kind of like the first shawl is that I spun and knit for her that she did get, and I now have. So with that is my finished spinning. And my upcoming spinning, I have 2 little balls of, not little balls, but 2 lovely balls of fiber here. This is actually some fiber that I hand dyed. This was Knit Picks Bare Roving. It's their 100% Peruvian wool. And I dyed this with Kool-Aid, food color, and gel food color on 7/21 of 2015. I believe I named this the Firestar colorway. I only dyed the one, obviously. And it was slightly, ever so slightly, a little bit felted. So and this fiber is very, very clingy. So I pre-drafted into 2 balls. I'm going to do a 2-ply on this because, of course, I love 2-plies. And I'm going to spin this up. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's mostly orange, as you can see, but it's also got like pops of pink and yellow. So it is a tonal. And there's some white that's showing through. So I'm looking forward to spin this. I may even start this today. We'll just see how I'm feeling, but that's my upcoming spinning. Let's see here. That would be the last of the fiber content. I don't have any stash enhancements. Nothing has been brought into the house, which is pretty typical right now. Upcoming cast ons, well, I've kind of done some of them by now. The shawls that I was talking about. So I'm still looking at casting on socks and, you know, the usual. I want to cast on a scrap blanket, but I haven't decided yet. So nothing has changed there. We're not going to put time into that because you know what I want to knit. And since I've cast on some things, I'm probably going to hold off from casting on some things for a little while until I finish something up. Because that's a lot of cast ons for me. I normally don't cast on that much stuff in that short of a period of time. So with that, Non-knit loves, I do have two things, two tiny little things. I had a Bluetooth speaker and it got really weird and it just randomly started turning on and off, on and off, on and off. So in the middle of the night you'd hear da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, over and over and over again. And my husband looked online and it sounds like it's a common problem, and in order to reset it, you were supposed to go into the headphone jack where the reset is and reset it. So obviously I'm nervous because you're going to be putting your like something long and pointy into a place that could have power. So I used a darning needle, a plastic darning needle, mind you, which was ingenious because I didn't think of it. I was holding the darning needle and we were talking about it. He's like, why don't you just use that to reset it? I was like, I don't have to find something now. It didn't work. I believe I haven't thrown it out yet because I was going to try one more thing, but it's probably pointless now because my husband bought me a new Bluetooth speaker. So this one works fantastic. I love it. It looks nice. I can just leave it out in front of the TV and it looks like part of the setup. And yeah, it works really well. He tested it. It gets very loud. I don't use it loud because A, I don't listen to really loud music, and B, we live in an apartment, so it's rude. But yeah. So I now have a Bluetooth speaker that works. The saga of the Bluetooth speaker, I believe, is now complete. And then, my addiction to pouches has not changed. I'm adding this one to the family. I had to share because it's so bright and so fun. And I'm definitely going to I'm most likely going to put knitting notions in this thing. But it's just so bright. It just made me smile. So I had to share it because it's the tiniest little thing. But if it makes somebody else smile, then why not? But with that, that's the end of my non-knit loves. Like I said, we're not really bringing anything in. Not much has changed. So with that, we'll move into life lately. Life lately, it's been hard for a lot of people. I'm not one of those people who's necessarily got the hardship, but I feel for a lot of people. My heart reaches out to a lot of people, so it's a very somber time. That's all I'm going to say on that. But that has probably been the cause of my extra knitting, because I knit just to calm myself down and just to, relieve stress. So there is that. And yeah, we've been kind of laying low, staying home. I guess because they have released the COVID restrictions on us for the most part. I believe Dane County has finally lifted its restrictions, because in Wisconsin they lifted the statewide but let the counties decide, and we're in Dane County, which is in the county of Madison, that Madison is in. It makes sense. They kept the restrictions on for a little bit longer. But I believe those are officially lifted, so things are kind of opening up, but not really. People are still cautious. I'm still cautious. I just, you don't know. We live near a big enough city that it's just better safe. We don't have any place to be anyway. And at the end of the month, we're hoping to take some vacation, but that will be what we look forward to. But I'll talk more about that in my next episode, because I have one episode before we actually go on vacation. But otherwise, yeah, it's been pretty lay low. I'm rambling at this point because I don't really have much to talk about. I feel like everybody's in the same boat. You saw what I've been doing. I've been working at my desk during the week and then doing this. But yeah, I think with that, I will leave you. I hope that everyone can stay safe, and just hopefully everyone is staying safe. I feel like that phrase has even more of a meaning now than it did even a month ago. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful week. Just a reminder, a recap, you can find me on Instagram. I am most active there as Victoria Schwanke. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, Lilwestie. You can find me on the blog, of course, woolymastadon.wordpress.com. Facebook, you can find me there. And then YouTube, Of course, YouTube. Please check out this space. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. Please leave a comment below and subscribe if you can. Share it with your friends just so that we can grow this community. And other than that, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye!